My compass today with me. See, I know where I'm going. There's a tag right there. There's a trail right there. We weren't just a hop, skip, and a jump. But you get to talking and stuff, and then you look up and you forget where the hell you came from. But I've covered this ground so much, I can look around and find my way. Unless it's all brushed in, then it's a real bear. It's a bitch. Then you may be lost for a few hours. A little bit scary for some people, but don't scare me. I try to just stay calm, don't panic, and then you'll start stripping your damn clothes off and you'll lose all your gear, and there you are, freezing to death. You can die from exposure. That body temperature drops down, you can be in some serious trouble real quick. Now this is a log road I popped back up on. I can see a tree fell over, but I go on this clear down to that great big old maple tree. She's awesome. She's a monster. I've never had trouble parking my rig where I got it parked and then walk in. Nobody's ever messed with it. I don't think too many people come back on these spur roads. A lot of them are gated off, but this one's open for people to cut firewood. Okay, we'll just go down this road just a little ways. I want to find one of them blue huckleberry bushes. I don't know why I haven't seen one. I run into them before now. I keep forgetting. Probably past the little patch I wanted to show you. There's some more big stumps. Okay, log laying down, cedar log. And I'm talking too, so that'll scare everything off. I've seen a lot of coyote and bear and cougar on this road. Try to show you a couple trails if I run into them. And this is quite a walk, so we're not going to cover all this today because I just want this film to see if the camera's working all right. Lots of wood down. Look at them beautiful ferns. I love those ferns, and they'll get huge. That ain't how big they are. They'll grow up, they'll be 4 foot tall. They explode when springtime comes on. See, what do we got down here? Now this was an old deer trail right here. I've been down this many times. Always look for tracks. Hard to pick them up unless they're real fresh. The rain hits them and they're gone. But you can see something's kicked that up. See that? That's on, something's kicked that up. See, I flipped it over and it's moss. And that's how you tell if that's fresh. See, it's like that. And you see that, most people wouldn't know. See, something slid right there. Something slid right there, you can see it. And then I take it and I'll flip it over. If you see green on the other side, you know that's fresh. This was a pretty well beat in deer trail. I'm not going to get too far down into here because this is a hell of a walk. If you get lost in here, it's not good. So we're going to head back up on this little road up here. And I don't know why you get turned around in there so bad. It's just too many hills and cut-ins. You'll go down a little draw and up on another little draw, and then you'll head east, then you'll head west, and then you'll head north, and then you'll head south, and pretty soon you're lost. Another big stump. Squirrel or woodpecker. Usually squirrel, you'll see a whole bunch of fir cones all tore up. He tears those pine cone up and there's seeds in them. Hey, there's a few mushrooms right there. I don't know what those are. Got to be careful picking mushrooms. You can get sick off some. Some are really poisonous. And I know the chicken of the woods. I've picked them my whole life, and I pretty much don't mess with anything else. There's shaggy mane. I think it's shaggy mane. And those ones that give off the ink. I think you could, I'm not sure about those. If those are edible or not. I got a mushroom book. We'll check them out. But I got the book, and I've identified quite a few mushrooms, and there's some really poisonous mushrooms on the peninsula here. It's unbelievable. And it's pretty calm out today. I haven't seen no coyote. The wind isn't blowing. When the wind's blowing in here, pretty dangerous. You don't want to get a tree down on you. I try to stay out of the woods. There's a maple down there. See, this is what I'm talking about. You head down there and then head up over that knoll right there. Maybe it's all brushy and you'll start heading north, and then maybe you'll have to head back west, and that's how you'll get turned around. Now there's a big huckleberry bush. Let's go see if that's the blue huck. That might be the blue huckleberry bush. Let's get up there. Oh yeah, look at that. That's one's got burnt down the fire. Huge. Now that's the blue huck. That's the blue huckleberry bush, and they're delicious. Little small berry, but it puts off tons of them. You can see the size of that stump. That's a, ow! I poked myself in the leg. Yeah, you can see that dirt right there. Always watch for fresh dirt like that. Something digging up in that stump, see, probably a squirrel or something. You can see a little bit right here. That's been done a while ago, but see, if the hole's big, run like hell. Because a lot of times bear will make their dens underneath these, and that's pretty fresh right there, so we'll stay away from that. So you just walk off. You don't mess around and sit there and lollygag. You think you see something that, see, now there's some dry stuff right there. See, oh yeah, no, I don't see no, yeah, there might be a few little tracks there. That's probably squirrel, but look at that, isn't that cool? That's how big the trees used to be, and that's small. They were way bigger than that. I've got a picture at home where, like I told you, where they put those boards cut down the tree, and there were 6 men standing in the undercut. And I'll have my wife put that on the computer, because that's really cool. But you can see them stumps scattered out through here, them great big stumps. See, that's what I'm talking about. You go down these little draws and go back up, that's where you can lose direction real fast. There's the board marks right there. Look at that. There's where a tree grew out of the stump. Now I've kind of got turned around here. I got to pay attention. Okay, I came from the east, northeast. Okay. Not too far down in here, but you just don't want to get turned around. That ends up to be a major walk out of the woods. And I don't have the time for that today. There's a pretty good sized tree right there. But look at that, isn't that cool? That grew over a stump. Looks to be a hemlock. There's another stump off in the distance. See where it's been tore all up? Now when I see that, I don't go over there, because that's fresh. Something's the bears tore that up. See, there's a tree growing out of it. I have to get a little bit closer, but I'm pretty sure I'll get it on the computer and see. But when you see stuff like that, you head the other direction. That's pretty cool. Now you can see tracks underneath that, or fresh dirt. That's what you got to pay attention to. Animals will lay underneath that. So let's head back this way and get back up on that road before we get turned around. I don't mind being lost in the woods, but sometimes it can be a little scary. See, when we looked at this blueberry bush, I always remember what that's why I checked everything out. See, there's a road right there, no big deal. We weren't far off of it. But you get down in there, half hour, 45 minutes, and that's where you can run into some trouble. There's a maple. That's a maple tree right there. And a cedar growing right out of the base of it. That's a cedar right there. And that's a maple. Okay, let's get back up on the road. Can't wait to get this home and see what this film looks like. So I just wanted to take a short one today. Okay. Let's see what's going on. There's some people bring their dogs down here to play. But that looks like a deer right there. Can't see a good enough print to tell because people bring their dogs on these and throw balls and play with them, and they tear the ground up. Okay, this has been pretty cool. It's starting to rain again, but you can see how far that road goes down through there. Another 10-15 minutes, I could probably be at the end of it, but I want to see what this film looks like. So I think I'm going to head on back. Here's my maple stick right here. You can see where I cut it off. It's a dandy. This is why I smacked the trees with. You can see that bark falling off there. It wasn't cut too long ago, and I've been smacking the trees to see if I can get an answer back. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Now I got my GoPro, I can prove it. The other little camera, it just doesn't pick it up. You got to be right on top of it to hear anything. Been a long time since anybody's drove down this road. So you can see the marks on the ground. Either dog or deer, one of the two. Want to get you some fresh deer sign, but I don't have time today. So I don't want to get back to the house and get this back on the computer. This thing stays on really good. I'm gonna have to take my hood. I got a hoodie on this coat. I'm gonna take it off. I'm sweating a little bit. See if I can pull this camera back down a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. Put my hoodie back up because it's raining. Keep your clothes dry inside, your head covered up so you don't lose all that heat. Because you don't want to get the death of pneumonia out here. You get to sweating and then you want to stop and cool down, well then you'll get chilled. You do that quite a few times, or you're chilled for a couple hours in a row, you can get sick. But I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so it don't bother me. But a little bit too much rain for people that ain't used to the rain. They call them snowbirds. They'll stay here in the summertime and take off in the wintertime. They'll go to Arizona, California, anywhere it's warm, probably even Mexico. But I stay here year round. I love it here. Short summers, only get about 6 weeks of summer. Sometimes, I don't know, I've seen summers that lasted up to anywhere from 6 weeks to 4 months. Okay, I almost passed it. This is where I go down off this road. I'll end up passing and walking clear up to the top and then figure out that I passed my trail up. Wish I could have got you some birds. I can't believe there's no birds. Now is that a holly? It's the ones that get the red berries on them. See, that's pretty big. There's some monsters down here. Seen some great big ones. I think the birds probably get the berries off the tree and then drop them, because I see these growing around people's yards. I don't know if it's native here or not. I'll have to check it out. But definitely these trees aren't native. They plant these in here. I think they're a tree they developed in Europe. I'm not sure. I'll find that out too. And they're a fast-growing sucker, but it's too bad they didn't leave the grand firs and the maples, the big Douglas fir, spruce. I wish they'd plant those back, plant native trees instead of, I know they have to make money, but it'd be a good idea to plant the native trees back. But they don't grow as fast, and they're much prettier. I'd just like to see them, even if they grew these for, you know, timber, you know, because they build houses, make furniture, everything else. But by the cricks, they got to leave some spots aside for the people that enjoy this kind of stuff, and they know what those trees are. Here another 100 years, nobody will know what the trees are. They'll be all gone. The cricks will be destroyed because they cut up to the cricks years ago, and it caused cave-ins, and they don't realize how much water those big old growths suck up, and those roots keep those banks solid. When they log by the cricks, it's bad news for the salmon, for the environment, for I mean, it's habitat for everything. Bear, cougar, every kind of bird you can imagine. On their migration, they come through here, and if those trees ain't there that they feed on, the seeds and bugs and everything else, what's going to happen to them? Headed back down. Let me see. I want to cut across here. Show you a good sized maple tree. I'll just cut through. I know where I'm at. That's Alder Grove. I better check it out real quick because, okay, now this is the trail. Okay, that's the Alder Grove. There's some maple down there. So I just want to always be aware of where you're at. If you're going to take off in the woods, go look at something, look around in a 360. Make sure you mark someplace where there's a stump or something. See, now I know that stump right there with that red huck growing out of there. Now it's right, that'll be right next to my trail. So when I head on down here, I'll walk straight, I'll head east. I'm headed west right now, and just turn right around, head east, and you're fine. So always keep track where you're going. See if I can find that big tree. And try to walk as straight as line as you can, and always take a look back. See, now that's what will confuse you right there. Okay, see, that stump's way back there. See, and you'll see stumps like that, but I know that one right there because the red huck's growing out of the top, but where there's no red huck's growing out of the top of these. See how far you can get? I mean, that was just seconds or a minute, and you're that far. So you can imagine walking 45 minutes down through this, how easy it could be to get lost. See, the wind did that. Wind blows a lot of stuff down. Even a little branch like that, they'll fall down with that broken tip, hit you right in the head and puncture a hole in your head. Okay, there's that big maple. There's a maple right there. That's a beauty right there too. Now this is cougar country right here. Once we get down in here, this is where the coug lives. You want to be damn careful. You want to take a good look around. A good thing you're talking, or have a bell. Put a bell on, and they'll hear you and they'll take off. But if you jump them while they're eating, bear or anything. See where that fell out of there? There's a burrow. That's kind of cool. See, that's a big maple tree. When all the leaves are on it, oh, it's beautiful. But you can see where they've came down here and they've hacked hole into there to see what kind of patterns in that wood. You can see they've taken an axe and chopped into that in a couple different spots. See, it's healing up right now. But it probably wasn't the one they were looking for. See the ferns growing out of it? That's what I was telling you. But these are the ones they chop down to make musical instruments out of. And these are pretty good size here. They're a lot older than what you think because they're growing in clay on this canyon wall. It takes a long time for them